Hello, world, and welcome back to another broadcast here on our YouTube channel. I am your host, Adam Turvitt, and today, as you can see from the wonderful background, we're in Dia de los Muertos is one of my favorite holidays. I don't speak Spanish, and this isn't one of the traditional holidays my family celebrates, but I'll tell you, I think this is a great holiday. Happened earlier this week, so I thought for the background of the presentation today, we could celebrate that a little bit. Wherever you're at, either in the northern hemisphere where it's November and it's starting to get cold, or in the southern hemisphere where it's November and it's starting to warm up, I hope you're having a good one. So today, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about CrossClave 15. So CrossClave is continuing to roll forward with lots of new features, and we're excited for how often we're able to release. Right now, we're about on a monthly release cadence. So if you are someone who is using CrossClave, we would love to hear from you, learn more about what you're doing with CrossClave and what we can do to improve it. For those of you who are not using CrossClave yet, we would love to have you try it out and see if this is the kind of application that can give your organization, your team, your group, whoever your people are, give you some value in the things that you're doing through the tool that we've developed. So let's talk about CrossClave 15. This is one of those releases that doesn't have any huge new features, but it does have lots of small improvements. As always, we have full release notes on our website that you can go and look at. And this time, the list of changes and bug fixes is humongous, which is amazing. Our dev team really works hard to make sure that what we're able to give you in our updates adds a lot of value. And CrossClave is something that we as a company use all the time, and so we're trying really hard to make sure that we've got good stuff because we use it too. And when there are bugs, we're usually the first ones to find them because we're using CrossClave all the time, and we want to get them fixed. So lots of small improvements. I want to highlight two of these for you. One, because it makes the process of adding people to your teams just a little bit easier, and the other because it helps with ransomware, which is such an insidious thing that hits so many different organizations. So first, let me show you some of the better onboarding improvements, and then we'll talk a little bit about ransomware and how CrossClave can play a role in your ransomware recovery story. So when we're talking about onboarding, what I mean by this is I'm a team owner. I have a team set up. I want to add new people to my team. That's what I'm talking about with onboarding. So there are a couple of different ways you can do onboarding. And, over the last couple of releases, particularly CrossClave 13, we worked really hard to make the onboarding process much easier. Fewer screens, fewer things to enter, and quicker way to get your people onto your team. So in particular for CrossClave 15, one of the things that we've done is we have improved the way that you can onboard people using QR codes. Here's a little bit of background of where I personally end up using this a lot. I go to quite a few conferences. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Tucson for an Air National Guard conference, and I was giving demos in person with people who are interested in learning about CrossClave. So one of the best ways to tell people about CrossClave is, of course, by handing them a device which has CrossClave installed and getting them onto a team. So just for your edification, here's the way the spiel goes. CrossClave is built on the platform that SpiderOak has developed. And what does the platform do? Well, it's really excellent at identity and access management. CrossClave is what we've built on top of that and gives humans, groups of people, a way to communicate in secure data compartments. So what do we mean by this? Well, if you and I are together in a space in CrossClave, we negotiate keys. Now, this doesn't involve verbal negotiation, of course. This is part of what our platform does in the background in a way that the end users don't necessarily see. But what we're doing is we're taking my key pair and your key pair. When I add you to a space, using our keys, we negotiate a shared secret. That shared secret is then used to encrypt everything inside the space. So that's chat messages, files we've uploaded, anything like that. And what we want to do with these key pairs is make sure that keys are exchanged effectively, users do not need to actually touch their keys, and that the keys are used to encrypt data. So let's give you a demonstration of how this works. Here I am in CrossClave. This is my team called CS Demo Team, and I have a new space called Daring Jumping Spider, which, by the way, is that's the mascot for this release. And so Daring Jumping Spider is where we're at in CrossClave 15. Now, I have a phone that's freshly set up. It has a brand new installation of CrossClave. This is an Android phone, so I got this straight from the Google Play Store. So if I want to add this phone to, I want to add somebody who possesses this phone. Let's be exact. I want to add the owner of this phone to my Daring Jumping Spider space. I need to first add them to my team. So here's how we do that. And I will shrink myself out of the way and make this bigger so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to go into the settings and go to the CS Demo Team. And in the team directory, you can see right now there's 3 people, Adam, Dave, and Kelly. And we'll call this new person Hello World. Then we click Create Invite. So there are a couple of things you see come up here. The one-time invite code is the really important bit. So this is all I would need to send to someone so that they can join this team. However, if I am together with the person I would like to add, it's even simpler than this. I don't even need to send them anything. I simply click the QR code button, and then if I come over here to my phone, we're going to Hello World by clicking the Join a Team. So I click that, and on this page, you can see there's a Scan QR code button. And once I give the QR code the access it needs, I'm going to come over here and scan, and boom, I'm joining the team. That's it. And back on my desktop, we can see that here, Hello World has been added as a member of this team. On my phone, of course, I'm going through the recovery phrase, and it's prompting me to remember this recovery phrase because the recovery phrase is really important. So make sure when you're setting up CrossClave, you save that recovery phrase because you only get this chance once. All right, now I'm in the CS Demo Team. Great. So if I come back here, we can see Hello World has been added. Now I'm going to go into Daring Jumping Spider, and I'm going to add Hello World to this space. Boom, added. Back on my phone, you'll see Daring Jumping Spider has been added. And of course, a user named Hello World should first say Hello World. Back on my desktop, you can see that I indeed have a chat, and I can ping this person and send them a world emoji. All right. At this point, the stuff we're doing is pretty standard, something that pretty much everybody can do with their chat apps. What's the unique thing then? Why do we even care? Well, the reason we care is because what we've done is we went from 0 to I'm in a secure data compartment using encryption keys that were used to negotiate a shared secret, which has then been used to encrypt all of the data on this phone, in this application on this phone. So even if I were to uh, have physical access to this phone, plug it into a computer, and go into the app data folders, what appears on that app data folder is encrypted. So the local encryption that we apply inside a phone is really quite a cool thing. All right, since we're here, um, there is a cool thing that you can do when you're in the settings. You should go to experimental features, and you can enable the photo camera and the video conference. They're experimental because they don't work the way that we would hope they do all the time, but they work really well, and it's really fun. So let's take a look at Daring Jumping Spider. What a cute little spider. I don't even like spiders, and I think this one's pretty fun. All right, well, there we are back in CrossClave. We've got files we can edit, we've got chat we can do, and this has all been done in a way that involves secure data compartments which negotiate using keys. And we do all of that encryption magic on the platform level. And it really, what this does is it gives you assurance that we're using effective cryptography and tried and true methods that are source available, so you can see the business end of the security that we do, and you can have confidence that what we're doing is what we say that we do. All right, so let's go on now to look at ransomware recovery. Ransomware is insidious. This is probably one of the greatest threats to the internet as we know it. And the reason ransomware is such a pain is because it is so easy to be infected with. Uh, I don't know about you, but no matter how hard you work to train people and make make effective training programs that try and help people to recognize phishing emails or spam emails and get people to not click on things, even the smartest, most well-trained people will sometimes make a mistake. And sometimes that's all you need to be infected with ransomware is one small mistake. So having an effective ransomware prevention and recovery story is really important for your organization. So how does CrossClave fit into this? Well, ransomware recovery has a couple of stages, and we address one of those. The first thing you need to do when you're infected with ransomware is you need to clean the hardware. So if your laptop gets hit with ransomware, the thing you absolutely should not do is start to re-download clean versions of all the files that are on that computer. Because if you do that, they're just going to be reinfected with the ransomware. So what you need to make sure of is that the first thing you do is clean that hardware. This can be really hard. Quite a few of the larger organizations that, I have a friend who, for example, works for one of the larger medical hospital systems in the Kansas City area, and he works really hard to make sure that their organization has a good ransomware recovery story, which generally involves throwing away computers that have been infected with ransomware, because it is so hard to make sure that what you've actually done is erase the ransomware and make sure that it's not going to reinfect that hardware. It is possible, and it takes some work. And there are specialized tools and people you can get to help you with this, but make sure you take that step. Where we help is in protecting the individual files and helping you recover those individual files. So The thing that we've introduced in CrossClave 15, which really makes a difference, is reverting files with one click. So I want to show you quickly what this looks like. So here I am in the CrossClave space that we just saw, the daring jumping spider, and I have a file here called swag. So I'm going to launch this. The swag file is just a text file, and I'm going to update that, and then I'm going to come back. And because I've made an update, you can see CrossClave's telling me you should push this update into the space. Great. I click a button, that's done. When I come in and look at the details of this file and the version history, you'll see I have the original version, version 1, and I have a version 2 that I just uploaded. You can also see I have a version open. So if I go ahead and close this version, you'll see that the preview is gone. All right. So if, for example, I had uploaded this file at 11:45, and then at 11:46, this computer was hit with ransomware. What that could potentially mean is that this version from 11:46 is infected. It's been encrypted by the ransomware, and this new version that is an encrypted version of this file somehow got uploaded to CrossClave. Now, let me be frank with you. That is kind of an edge case because the files in CrossClave don't live on your computer. They live in the cloud where they are protected by our system and the things that we do to protect the data. We're not protecting data because we can see it, of course. We're protecting the entire system. But should, through an edge case, such as I'm in this space, I see, oh, there's that update button, and I click it. Okay. So if that happened, and now I have an encrypted file that's infected with ransomware in my CrossClave, I can simply revert to a version of that file that was uploaded before the infection hit. So that's version 1. 11:45, I was fine. 11:46, I got hit. So here at 11:45, I'm going to set this as the current version. You see the reverting version, boom. Now version 3, which came from version 1, so we can see the version details. It was created at this time, it was modified at this time, here's the size, and we can use that to double check that this is the correct file. But what I've just done is I've recovered this file from ransomware by simply rolling it back and making an older version the current version. So now in my space, this is a clean file. It is safe from the ransomware that infected 11:46 because it's the previous version. I've made it current. And this way, I don't have to worry about anybody else on my team who might download this file getting infected because this is a clean file. Now, were you to do this at scale, would it take a while? It could. And that's one of the insidious parts of ransomware is it infects and encrypts so many different files, which is one of the advantages of CrossClave because your files don't live on your computer. They live in the cloud, and you can download a local copy to work on and recommit those changes to the cloud, largely protecting you from ransomware infection of data inside CrossClave. But should you feel the need, you can always revert now with one click. Now, is there more to a ransomware story? Yes, there is. And having an effective overall solution for ransomware is really important. And you and your organization will need to work on what that story looks like. But CrossClave can play a role. And one of the things that we want to do in the future is have a much larger story for reverting files in one click where you can come to a space and say, please revert all files to a version that was saved before 11:45 on November 5th. Click, and it will set the version that was from at or before that point in time to all files that are in that space. So that's something we're working on. That's probably going to come in Q1. But for now, you do have the ability on a one-by-one basis to roll files back with a single click. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Something I'm really excited about because this can make a big difference in making sure your data is ready to be recovered after you get hit with ransomware. All right, couple of upcoming things we've got. iOS is coming soon. So I want to throw a shout out to Chip and Aleko, two of our great developers who are working tirelessly on iOS. We should have, so right now we have an iOS version that it is in early beta. We've really only used it internally, but just for fun, let me show you that this actually exists. Well, tell you what, take my word for it. It exists. I'm not sure exactly how to connect that phone to this presentation. And so rather than have you wait for me, I'll make sure that's part of what I do in my next video is show you the iOS version. But the iOS version that is going to be a public beta through test flight will be available soon. And one of the last things that's being worked on before that point is push notifications so that you'll be able to get notifications just like you do on desktop or on Android. And you'll know when you get messages or other notifications like that. So if you are interested in being part of our iOS beta program, please let us know. You can email me at crossclave@spideroak.com, and our support team will put you on the list to be part of the iOS beta. And once we feel like it's in a good spot, then we'll open this beta up generally to everybody. Our hope, and Chip and Aleko, don't kill me for saying this, but by the end of the year, we hope that we'll have an iOS version in the Apple App Store so that anybody who's using CrossClave will be able to use it without going through test flight. Now, in our next version, which should land the end of November, we have a really exciting new feature called Airlock that's coming. So Airlock is a way to take files that are in CrossClave and share them with people who are not on CrossClave. And this would be particularly useful for people who need to send large files. Sending large files is a challenge. That statement is not new. If you've ever tried to email anything larger than 10 megabytes, which is, let's be honest, a lot of files, you'll know that sending large files can be a problem. Maybe your email provider allows you to send a 25 megabyte file, and maybe the person that you send it to, their email provider, does not, and so they cut that file off. Maybe you just need to be able to move files easily between different devices, but you don't have CrossClave on all of them. Maybe you have external contractors that you work with, especially if you're working in media where you have large image files or video files or things like that. A secure way to send large files is an important thing. And right now, there are several send file services that work well and depend on your plain text file sitting on their rando server. How do you know that they're taking good care of your stuff? You don't. You have no idea. There's no encryption applied, and all that's protecting your file from being available on the public web is the obscurity of the link and perhaps a download limit on the file. So what Airlock will give you the ability to do is have a short code made up of a couple of English words and a URL. You will send that information to the person you're sharing the file with. They will go to the URL, either paste or type in the words in the code, and the transfer will happen from your device to their device. It doesn't involve the server. It's peer-to-peer, decentralized, with a little bit of encryption magic that we facilitate through the wormhole protocol that we have on the website you'll direct people to. I'm really excited about Airlock. This will solve problems for a lot of organizations that need to send files, as well as individuals who just need to sling things across the internet and want a secure way to do it. By the end of November, in the next version, CrossClave 16, Airlock will be available. And I'm really excited about this. You can probably tell from my enthusiasm. I think Airlock's a great idea, and it almost made it into version 15, but we weren't quite done with the Android part of it, so we've put it off to version 16, but it'll be available for you end of the month. All right. If you have not yet tried CrossClave, I'll move myself out of the way so you can read this clear. We would like to invite you to get it for free. Go to spideroak.com/crossclave, and you can start a free plan that gives you 5 gigabytes of storage and up to 3 users on your team. For those of you who need more storage or more people on your team, we've got some really good plans that we've worked hard to make them competitive in terms of storage and in terms of cost. For as little as $7 a month, you can get 3 terabytes of storage that you can share among the users on your team. And if you're someone who needs HIPAA compliance or other specialized needs like admin training or other add-ons that we include on our Pro plan, that gives you 5 terabytes of storage for as little as $15 a month. So please check it out. But again, it's free. So please feel free to go to spideroak.com/crossclave and get started with the free plan. And if you have any questions, as I mentioned before, crossclave@spideroak.com is the email address to send us an email at, or you can just go to spideroak.com, click on the chat icon, and our team will be happy to discuss CrossClave or any of our other products with you and help you to find the right stack of tools that can help your organization do good work in a secure way. All right. For SpiderOak, I am Adam Turvitt, and it has been wonderful to talk with you today. Hope you have a good one. Hope you had a good Dia de los Muertos earlier this week, and be good to each other. Stay warm if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. All right. I will see you again on an upcoming video, and check out CrossClave. Thanks.